Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCC Talk, back today with another video. In today's video, I wanted to go over the scheduled ban and restricted announcement that came out basically a day, but it was really yesterday, talking about the changes or lack thereof to Starvo and the metagame as a whole. For the kind of like short term version of this is a lot of people were kind of upset about it, not just because there was no changes, and that really wasn't the point of people being upset. The point of people being upset was that LSS was very vague and basically set themselves up to be able to change things exactly how they want to change them in multiple different ways. But what it does is it puts the players, especially professional players, or like as professional as this game is right now, or like top players, not knowing like what the meta is going to be in a month. And we'll get more into that. This won't be a super long video, but just kind of give my thoughts on it. I'm not going to rant or rave about it. Just kind of give my reasoning for the way I'm thinking about certain things. So they came out with it and said for Classic Constructed, there's not going to be any changes. Bravo star of the show is the deck to beat based on impressive ProQuest Season 1 performance. After the recent victory, he now has 814 Living Legend points, as well as on his way to a 1,000 point threshold, which would make him Living Legend, right? Because of that, he'll no longer be legal for Classic Constructed play upon either the next release set from the time he gets Living Legend or from the next ban and announcement. And that's really important. Ban and restricted announcement. And that's really important. We'll talk about why in a second. So they're in the midst of an extensive international tournament schedule with the following Classic Constructed events taking place in the next few weeks. They added 2 Classic Constructed events onto the list, right? So they put it under the premise of players want to see more Classic Constructed play, and even in skirmish season. So we're going to add 2 Classic Constructed events at Krakow. I think I'm saying that correctly. Krakow in Taiwan. So they added these saying that people want more Classic Constructed, which makes more sense. But what I really think it is they added these to hopefully let Living Legend get there faster with Starvo. That's just my opinion. But so they added these. There's 5 events before the Pro Tour, and basically if Starvo wins the 100-point Taiwan event and then wins at least 3 out of 4 of these 30-point events, or not even, 3 out of 4 of these 30-point events, then he's going to get Living Legend. So it's not a guarantee by any means, but it's probably pretty likely he gets there, gets close. So like that's one way he can be out of the metagame, and that's one way that because all these happen right before the ban announcement, if he gets Living Legend, then he will be banned from the Pro Tour, which again hurts the professional players because or like the top players, because people with the PTI may not go to any of these events. They already have their PTI. They're going to use it for the New Jersey event, and they're not going to waste it. Some of them might not waste their time on travel and expenses and stuff like that. But they're going to be testing their deck for the Pro Tour for New Jersey, which is literally the most important event of the year so far, other than like Worlds. So if they're testing Starvo for the next month and then he gets banned the day before the event or like the week before the event, that's just going to be a really bad thing, right? So that's one side of it. Like if they're going to ban Starvo, they need to ban Starvo or say he's not allowed on the Pro Tour or something like that. But I understand like they want the Living Legend system to have its day and to play out. And it's kind of like the players, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And if this was just the only issue, then there wouldn't be as big of a deal. Maybe some gripes and complaints, but not as big of a deal. The issue is the second part. It is our intent for the competitive season through the end of April to be played out with no changes to the ban restricted list fair, and the Pro Tour New Jersey to be the first major event to tackle a new metagame. As such, we are making no changes to Classic Constructed. The next ban and restricted announcement is scheduled for May 2nd, the day after Battle Hardened Pittsburgh, at which point it is possible for Starvo to achieve Living Legend. It is also possible that he will not, and that he is part of the metagame heading into the PT New Jersey. Based on the results of the upcoming competitive events and considering more than just Living Legend stats for Bravo, we will make changes to ban and restricted playlists as necessary. So here's the issue with this part right here is that they're basically in a very vague and like passive aggressive way saying that we hope he gets Living Legend. We want him to get Living Legend, not want him, but we hope he gets Living Legend and the system plays out the way it's intended, and that he isn't available for the Pro Tour, which kind of sucks because it's this bad timing. Like there's 2 sides of this, right? If you're just talking about Living Legend, it really just comes down to bad timing, right? The Pro Tour honestly just happens to be right before you could possibly get Living Legend, and that's really crappy timing, but it also is like, it's just that's just how the timing's going right now. Now, the fact that they added 2 classic instructed events to try to make sure that he gets it before the Pro Tour is really bad to me. But like as a player, I understand your frustration, but you also everybody's been saying they want Living Legend to be like legitimate. So if he's gonna get it, like that's just a time frame where it's like, look, it sucks to be a player right now because you're basically gonna have to know 2 decks. You're gonna if you're playing Starro, you're also gonna have to have a backup deck in case he gets banned, and just test both. And there's no way around it. Like there's the timing is just the timing, right? The issue is they basically are saying that we're gonna have their cake and eat it too. Because what this paragraph actually says is even if he doesn't get Living Legend, we could still make changes. That's messed up. So like if he doesn't get Living Legend and they still ban him right before he gets Living Legend because they don't want him to be in the Pro Tour, I don't think they will. But if they did, that's bad. That's really bad for the game. It's really bad for competitive integrity. It's just not good. Um, they even say this approach is intended to put a challenge on exploring a revised metagame. So like, what I mean? And so overall, like it's just not good. It's not a good look for LSS. And I'm not saying they should have banned or they shouldn't have banned him. As you can see, here's the Living Legend leaderboard. I think it's at the bottom. So he's at 814, Prism's at 560, and Chains at third at 566. Briar's at 430. I get what they're wanting to do by letting the Living Legend system go in, and it's just really crappy timing. I do agree that they either had to ban him right now, like hardcore ban Starvo from competitive play, or they have to just let it ride out. The issue is like they needed to be a little bit more concrete in their messaging and be like, look, if he does not get Living Legend before the Pro Tour, he's not going to get banned. And we're not going to make any changes to his deck because it's too close to the event, too close to a really significant, time in our competitive history. We're just going to let it ride out. I know it sucks. I know people are upset, but like in order to keep competitive integrity in the game, we gotta keep it consistent, right? I work in esports and I work in like gaming, and like there's an issue with some video games, right? It's like a similar situation where big game updates happen right before a huge event, and professional players are like, "What the heck? Like, what are we supposed to do now? You just nerfed my character, you buff this character, now we have to change all this," and it hurts the competitive integrity of the game. And it's a similar situation with this when it comes to the Living Legends, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what I didn't make a video on this, but like what I would have liked to see out of it. Like some people were calling for Crown Seeds ban. Some people were saying Crown Seeds and Skeleton. Some people were saying Awakening. Some people were saying like make Oakenold a specialization for Oldheim. Some people were just saying ban Starvo altogether, and then some people were saying no changes. That was like the consensus for what people wanted. Me personally, like just giving a 1 minute like reaction, I personally probably would have made if I had like total keys to the castle, could do whatever I wanted, I would have made Oakenold an Oldheim specialization. Because that card is really honestly what shifts the game so much because it only costs 3, and if Starvo has the triple whammy with it, it basically gets +2 from its ability and then +2 again from his ability with Go Again. So it's basically a 3 cost 11 Go Again dominate, and that's just broken. Like as bad as Crippling Crush and Spinal Crush are and all those other things, they at least cost a decent amount. So you have to set up that way, either with Awakening or whatever. Um, Oakenold definitely would have been an Oldheim specialization or rotted, like 100% Starvo cannot use it. And then I would have also banned Awakening as a card. Because what Awakening does is it allows you to basically, even if you're on the complete back foot, gain absolute smoke to Starvo, you basically can play Awakening and then go get your most powerful attack and play it for free. And in Starvo, that's just really broken. And I can't tell you as a Katsu player, or even as an aggro based player in general, how many times I was ahead against Starvo, keeping tempo, keeping pressure, doing what I needed to do in order to combat that deck, which is 4 cards from hand, and he just plays Awakening and completely changes the whole game because he gets Oakenold for free and plays it next turn, or he goes and gets Pulverized or whatever it is, right? So just not great for the game. I think both of those should have been changed. I want to ban the hero, let him ride out, but I guarantee you, if you got rid of Oakenold, it would have hurt him a little bit. He still would have done good well, but it wouldn't have been as broken as it is. But that's just my opinion. Other than that, like they're in a bad spot. They shouldn't have made the hero in the first place. That's another conversation though, and that's not something that I want to get too into right now. But I hope they realize like the power creep of what, like, if you just say in this game without even saying anything else, like, hey, I'm gonna give you someone that can give +2 dominate go again to any card they have, any attack action they have, like, that just sounds broken. Like the second he came out, I knew he was gonna be insane. Like the day one we saw him, we were putting in our group chat like with buddies, like, hey, this hero is gonna be stupid. Like it's gonna be insane. But anyway, overall, we'll see what happens. I think the only good that can come from this right now is that he gets living. So like he gets living legend naturally. They make no other changes, and then people just have to adjust at the pro tour. It sucks to suck, but like at the end of the day, you wanted living, like the players wanted living legend to work. It's right now it's just bad timing. Like I know it's right before pro tour, but you know it, either you want it to work or you don't want it to work. Like the timing sucks, and I know people would just rather them said like, oh, we'll ban him now so that it's not an issue in the pro tour. But like if they would have banned Starvo in this announcement, then people would have been like complaining that, oh, he's at 814 living legend points. Why are we banning someone so close? Let's just let living legend ride out. Like it would have been a lose lose situation for them no matter what. So I totally understand what they were doing and trying to do. But anyway, hopefully this video is all right. I didn't want to like get too crazy in depth, just kind of give my thoughts about it, and see what y'all's thoughts were as well. Let me know if you want more content like this. I'm gonna go back to talking about the game a little bit more. Just haven't been a ton of updates. Once skirmish season's over, I'll kind of give my take on CC and how I'm approaching it and like what I think about it and where I think the game's at and stuff like that. I think right now the game's in a weird spot and it's not really fair to assess it because we are in skirmish season. We're in a supplemental set, right? We have a very powerful hero, like all these things. Like it's just a lot coming at us at once, and I don't want to get too nutty with it. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy this video. Please leave like, comment, subscribe. If not me, go to Never Flesh About Career, do the same thing for them so we can get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.